Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be going over Yorktown meta for the meta fight for the next 2 months or so in Azur lane. So, how good is she? Let's go ahead and find out. SSR tier York. I guess this is like the in-between between like Yorktown and Yorktown 2, because Yorktown is elite and Yorktown 2 is UR, so this is like the in-between, I guess. That's kind of cool actually. That works out perfectly fine. I think that's great. Anyways, though, stats at 120, we got 6739 health, 429 aviation, 350 anti-air, 130 reload, 55 evasion, medium armor, 30 speed, 120 accuracy, 39 luck, 14 on the oil cost. Already, this is a big jump compared to the original Yorktown. Like, look at this right here. This is like 20 more aviation, a significant, actually, yeah, much more anti-air, that's for sure. Stats all around a lot better compared to the original Yorktown. Not as good as the ultra rare one, but much better than the elite one, that's for sure. And the art is always good because meta's like has that like little dark scheme. That's pretty cool. Efficiencies, we got 135, 125, 125. Dive fighters, dive bombers, torpedo bombers, 332. Solid all around, so no complaints there. Stats at 120, we got +1, or perma stats at 120, we got +1 reload. So, right there, very good ship. I love my reload stats on carriers. That is a very good stat to have. So, at level 120, definitely worth making, or definitely worth leveling to 120. In terms of skills, to gaze upon fate. 5 seconds after the battle starts, and every 10 seconds after that, inflicts observed status on enemies without the status until the end of the battle. Prioritize humanoid enemies, decreasing their firepower and aviation by 5%. Okay, damage reduction on enemies now. That's pretty cool. When this ship airstrikes finish loading, inflicts the focus gaze status against enemies with the observe status for 10 seconds. Okay, decreasing their anti-air, evasion, and speed by 10%. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. It makes hitting things much easier. So that's basically like a buff for like all people, because it debuffs enemies. And especially when it comes to bosses, that's also pretty good as well too, because anti-air is basically damage reduction against planes, evasion is accuracy, so basically improves damage as well too, and speed also helps out with carrier stuff. So all these debuffs right here are very good for any kind of aviation fleets that you guys are running. Enemies with focus gaze take 12% more damage from Yorktown. Oh, just Yorktown, but also deals 5% more damage to Yorktown meta. I wonder if this applies to all Yorktowns. I obviously, like, I wouldn't put this with Yorktown 2 because that's a very congested fleet as is. I don't think it'll be as good as well too, but that's still pretty nice though. I'd say if you guys want to do like a triple Yorktown setup, by all means go for it. But this could work out with like Lexington 2, Yorktown 2, and Yorktown meta. That could possibly be not bad for a lot of like mid-game players. I'd say it's pretty solid all around for like chapter 12 plus content. And the blue skill, when the battle starts, increase the ship's max detection gauge value by 15. When this ship launches an airstrike, launches a special airstrike and increase the ship's detection gauge recovery by 2 for 5 seconds. Once per battle, when the ship drops below 20% HP as a result of damage taken, restores 15% up to 25% of the ship's max HP and launches a special airstrike. If there is an enemy with focus gaze when this effect activates, this ship detection gauge value is set to 0. Alright, so that's very good. A lot of sustain, a lot of detection gauge resets and improvements right there. Overall, very good. The third skill, witness life and death, very edgy right there. Increase the ship's aviation by 10% if your airspace control state is not air denial or air incapacity, basically green status. Yorktown takes 12% less aircraft damage. Increase the reload accuracy of all ships with framework logic skill by 10%. Alright, so this reload skill is something that a lot of USS carriers definitely want. I'm not sure why they gave it to just Yorktown meta for like the first one. That is, I don't know why, but she only buffs meta ships with this kind of stuff. So unfortunately, it doesn't buff Lexington 2 or Yorktown 2. But reload is a definitely must-want skill for aircraft carriers, and Yorktown meta getting one is pretty nice. Honestly, it's very, very good. And then framework of logic, Yorktown. When fighting humanoid enemies or sirens, increase a meta ship's damage dealt by 6%. So this is all, I believe. That's a really good buff right there. All right, so if you guys want to run a more meta fleet, this is a very, very good setup, especially if you have a lot of carriers as well too. This also is very, very good. So I say as of right now, if we look at the selection of meta ships, you guys can probably run something like Arc Royal could work here, Heryu could work here, Soryu could work here. I guess, when did we fight Burn meta? It's been a while, I don't remember. Hornet meta could work too. Ignore the 5-star mining and work on fixing that. Taiho meta could work. There's a lot of carriers here. Glorious meta can also work as well too. There's a lot of selection here when it comes to meta carriers that you guys can use if you guys want to play that route for ships. That's up to you though. But I think Yorktown 2 does, or York meta, sorry, offers a lot of kit for what she has. Definitely one of the better meta ships by far for utility. But in terms of damage though, it's not really there. It's just mainly for support, which I think a lot of ships want to have these days, because the more support utility, the better. In risk of just this raw damage, utility kit is actually pretty cool, so I like that a lot. But I think as of right now, if you guys are like a new to mid-game player, Lexington 2, Yorktown 2, and Yorktown meta with some kind of like standard Vanguard fleet for carriers could also be very, very good, I'd say. So overall, not bad. Very good ship. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, feel free to leave questions, and I will see you guys in the next video as always.